Recording in progress.
All right, guys, happy January 31st, Wednesday, come to you full of excitement, full of energy, and full of gratitude for all the things that are happening in our world as well as my personal life. I'm just really stoked about where things are. And at the end of the day, you guys, you have to know that your life, your business can change in the next couple months, right? You just have to keep at this. You have to keep consistent. You have to keep putting your name out there. You have to keep building content. And then all of a sudden, something starts to pick up. And that might have meant months and months and months of you working behind the scenes for it finally to kick off. But if you're not doing anything, you're not staying consistent, the whole conversation, we don't need to go down that path, but your business and your life can change in the next couple months. And I believe that for all of us. And I've seen it happen right here on this screen before my eyes. So let's go ahead and get rolling. You guys got a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about the market. I want to have a conversation about the market. But before we get rolling, let's go. Aaron, did you shave your mustache, bro? I didn't see. Did you shave it, Aaron?
No,
you trimmed it.
It's still rocking. It's still rocking.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure, bro. I want to make sure we're all on the same page together. All right. So let's do this. I got quite a few people on the line today. Let me go around the room. Listen, if you have the ability to throw your cameras on, throw your cameras on. Be here, be present. I don't care what you look like. I don't care about your hair. Just be here and be in the moment. Let's go over to, all right, Ophelia, it's been a minute. I don't know if the kids are in the car, but it's okay. You always do a good job at this. I'm going to throw you right in the fire. Ophelia Vargas, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field and share the sentiment with us on this beautiful Wednesday morning, January 31st. Let's go.
Sounds good. Yeah, that was straight right in. Okay, so I'm super motivated and just on fire, you guys. What Elias just said is true. You just keep working behind the scenes, stay consistent, and honestly, you're doing all of this by faith, and it's gonna pay off. Just keep showing up. And one thing that I learned early on being on this team is that though nothing was really happening, I would always show up to coach calls. So if you're here and you're consistent about it, just keep pushing. It's coming.
I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and get rolling. Got a few things that I want to talk to you guys about, and obviously the market conditions, but I want to make sure that we have this conversation and I keep it very real with everybody. It's January 1st. In November, we did business planning. In December, we prepped, we planned, we got ready for the new year. We wrote out our goals. We did our vision boards. We had people come over and we had wine and we had, drinks, and we did our vision boards and we tracked. And we talked about all the things that we're going to accomplish. We had our mason jars and we're putting little notes in it to ourselves. And now here we are, January 31st. And I want you guys to ask yourself this question, and you don't have to answer it. If you want to answer, feel free to. You got to ask yourself right now, are you super proud of all of your accomplishments thus far in the year? Or are you a little bit, regretful, meaning that you have just dragged your feet, you haven't stayed the course, you haven't committed to the things that you said that you were going to commit to, and now you're playing catch up. So you're either living in total like progress right now, or you're just living in a little bit of regret because you haven't followed through on the commitments that you made for yourself. You guys, listen, it's January 31st. Do this reset, call a timeout, have a halftime check-in with yourself and say, okay, I really didn't start off the way that I wanted to. I didn't set out to, or I didn't achieve the goals that I set out to achieve in the first month of the year, but it's all right. It's all right, you guys. Now it's time to readjust your sails and say, okay, we're going into February. Guess what's going to happen? February, March, April, it's going to be busier than it's been the last 3 months. I promise you that. What's going to happen is in March, and I'm just looking at statistically, back from 2021, our company has always experienced a spike in sales in March. So what's going to happen over the next couple months is buyer demand that's been pent up for all these months. You're already seeing it. You're already seeing multiple offers. You're already seeing people come out of the woodworks. Check your Real Scout. Check your Follow Up Boss. People are looking at houses more than they've looked at houses in the prior 3 months because now they're accustomed to whatever's going on. The psychology of a buyer right now in the marketplace is they feel a little bit more ease. They feel a little bit more ease. And so you guys, it's going to be busy the next couple months. You're either going to step in and step up, or you're going to say, this business is not for me, and that rests on your shoulders. Monica, you had your hand up. Let's go to you. Then we're going to get right into the conditions of the market right now.
Awesome. Thank you for the lead in. Mine's personal and professional, honestly. For those of you that don't know me on the call, I'm coming out of being a broker for 12 years. And the last year and a half, 2 years, I really wasn't in production much. I was really just focusing on the agents. At that point, I had 56 agents. And so now I'm just transferring back into personal production and trying to get things ramped up. And I did do my vision board. I wasn't part of the EXP thing then, but I'm super into that. And I think it's really crucial for your success and looking at it and reminding yourself what your goals are. But on a professional note, it's been a little bit slow rolling, just getting transitioned over to new brokerage and stuff. But on a kind of a funny note, yesterday I post a lot about my dog, and I'll talk about her and real estate. And an old buddy of mine called me yesterday, and I didn't know it was him. And he's like, "Hey, is this Bryn's mom?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "I was calling to talk to you about your not so real estate pit bull." It was pretty funny, but we had a great conversation. We're gonna get together for coffee, see how we can support each other in business. Am I where I necessarily want to be? Not quite. But the other thing is, on a personal note, I'm 101 days sober today, and have been really focusing on my health and wealth, and trying to gear myself up for an amazing year on a personal and a professional level.
Wow. You know what, Monica, like, let's just put the business aside for a second. Like, that choice and that decision in itself, I know firsthand what that has done for my life, for the future, for my children. Like, congratulations. I'm sure you are experiencing tremendous levels of clarity. You feel good, you feel fresh, and I'm super happy for you. I'm super, super happy. I gave up booze a long time ago, and it's the one decision, when I look back, it's probably the smartest decision that I ever made. So congratulations to you.
It's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, while she's here, you guys, send her some love, send her some light. Let's throw some emojis. That's 100 days, you guys. And I don't know how much you drank or how much you indulge, but the fact that you have it in 100 days, that's a big, especially in this business. It's a very social, let's drink, let's party, let's hang out, let's network. And so good stuff to you. Absolutely love it. So you guys, let's get into a couple things. And as we were going through this, I want you guys to be on deck. If you have, in the last 2 weeks, put a deal into contract, if you're in negotiations right now, if you've been up against 22 offers, if you got your offer accepted in a very, very competitive environment, was it your terms? Was it the price? What was it about your offer that got accepted? I want you guys to tell me exactly what you're experiencing in the market right now. And I want to put you guys on some game right now, because I saw this presentation and I had never heard of this company. First and foremost, has anybody on this call heard of the company called Zonda? Please raise your hand if you've heard of the company called Zonda. And I want to go to, you have, Aaron. Okay, cool. Ashley, I don't see you. Let me go back to your face. Ashley Jerovich, have you seen, or are you familiar with Zonda? If you're talking, I don't have anything. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't know what Zonda is.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. I have information that Ashley doesn't know. Okay, cool. Because you're always my guru. So let's go to Aaron Chris. Aaron Chris, what's your understanding of Zonda and this platform?
I understand that Zonda tracks builder activity. And so it sees how many builders are selling, what builders are selling, what are they selling for. And I think it tracks it like down to incentives and all that stuff. So it keeps a tab on builder activity.
100%. So you guys, I watched an economic update from the Zonda lead economist, and I thought it was a really, really powerful presentation. And so what you'll see here is that Zonda tracks 65% of production of new homes across the United States of America. And what you'll find is that through these reports, you'll see, obviously, as our home sales up year over year for new builds, and obviously that answer is yes. And then you get really, really deep into the data, and you can see here that this metric shows that there were 643,704 new homes sold in December on a seasonally adjusted annualized rate. This gain was 1.6 from last month and an annual increase of 22.1 from a year ago. On a non-seasonally adjusted basis, 48,000 homes were sold, 22.3% higher than last year, and 0.06 or 0.6 below the same month of 2019. What you'll find here is you'll find tons and tons of reports That way you can just be astute. You can have great conversations about the market. You'll understand where the builders are, what's happening. There's some great press releases here and the recent posts. You can pull up this market report here. You can listen to this podcast. You can hear different things that are happening in the new build environment. Some of you do a really good job at documenting the journey of what's happening. Well, I think that we could do an even better job and amplify that and really dive into what the builders are doing in our surrounding communities. Like right now, is there a new build that you know is going up that hasn't even started selling in your respective neighborhoods? Is there somewhere that I don't know of or we don't know of? If you can, please drop the new devs that you know of right now that aren't already selling. Obviously River Islands is projected to build another 10,000 homes. They're building a Del Webb. They're building a brand new high school. They're building all of these new add-ons to what is already there. And so that community over the course of the next 10 years is probably going to have over close to 20,000 new residents, and as well as a brand new high school that my daughter will be attending in a few years. So you guys, if you have new developments that you know of, please drop that down below. And also, as you're communicating with your consumers, I think that it's super important that despite what they're looking for, that you put that in the flow, right? They want a contemporary, they want a traditional, they want a bungalow style, they want a craftsman, they want turn of the century. All good. Let's show them that. But I think that it's important that we really understand what's happening in the new build environment, because the more and more demand that they understand that's happening from places like Zillow, what they're going to do is they're going to say, you know what, the demand is here. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to give these realtors an opportunity to sell these homes. So you guys be very, very aware of what's going on in new builds in your area. And I didn't know that Zonda existed prior to last week. Now I have Zonda. I'm going to put the link down below. I want you guys to follow Zonda, get in their ecosystem, download all the reports, do videos on these reports. I just think that it's a really, really good hub for you to pull great information about what's happening in the new dev market. So let me post that down below and let me get right to my chat here. All right, so let's see here. I have a couple here. New constructions on 5 Canyons and Castro Valley. By a show of hands, how many people are familiar with that development? Please raise your hand if you're familiar with the 5 Canyons development in Castro Valley. All right, let's go to you really quick, Gwen. Gwen, talk to us about this development. What are they offering? What is the build? What's the starting average price? Let's go there.
I honestly haven't looked into it. It's just right down the hill by my house. So I see it every day when I take my kid to school or drive up to the house. It's been in construction, I would say, since summer last year. The road is already being built to, I guess, set the foundation for the homes. And the development is called Summit Homes.
Perfect. So here's a challenge for you. Next time you're walking the kids or you're driving by, you park your car, you go into the sales bungalow or whatever they have, their trailer, and you talk to them about the development. You take notes and you get a really, really good understanding of what's coming. Also, the economic impact that it's going to have on that area. How many homes? Are they building parks? Are they adding new schools? All of that stuff, because that makes for great content. And then if you have somebody that's moving into Castro Valley, then it ups the value add when you think about, well, who's moving into this area and how is Castro Valley growing? It's an amazing conversation for you.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, cool, good stuff. I have new builds next to me. All right, Blessing, Sea Glass in Discovery Bay. How many people know of the Sea Glass community? Please raise your hand. I've never heard of it personally. Blessing, tell us about it. Blessing,
So,
going once. There you go.
I'm here. Hello. So Sea Glass is a community by Pulte. It is actually right between the Lakeshore HOA and Ravenswood community. Point of Timber, like dead ends, but they basically they're going to be building, I believe it's 250 to 300 homes that don't have water access but have water front view, as far as just they're building kind of like a man-made lake in between. From what I understand, they are going to be starting at 650, which is great for Discovery Bay, but going all the way up to 950, right around 1. depending on the floor plan. So I need to get more information. I need to actually go into the sales office. I've been stalking it for a couple of months now. So I just need to get more details on the economic impact.
Beautiful, beautiful. I absolutely love that. Let's see, we got a couple hands up. Monica, let's go to you, and then we'll go to George Martinez.
Perfect lead in, Blessing. I was just at Seagrass yesterday. They're building out 276 homes. Like she said, there is a man-made lake. There's going to be a trail that'll walk the entire perimeter of the property. It faces Kellogg Creek, if you're familiar at all with Discovery Bay. There is an HOA of $317 or $320 a month. It's not gated or anything, so the HOA is just basically covering the pool. I'm sorry, the lake, and then they're going to have like a big community type center where people can do cornhole and fire pits and barbecues and all that kind of stuff. The HOA will be subsidized until they reach full build out. It's Pulte Homes. They are offering 2.5%. Their pricing is actually like 8 to 1.2. They've only sold, I think, 4 or 5 homes at this point. But a builder, Pulte's a good builder, and a co-op at 2.5% when a lot of these builders don't want to even deal with us is pretty awesome. So yeah, and if anyone wants more about Discovery Bay, this is my backyard.
God, I love this. I absolutely love it, and I'm glad that we're on this trend with Brentwood. Let's go to George. I'm sure he has some other neighborhoods and other areas. George, welcome back from vacation. Let's go to you, and I'm going to drop something in the chat here in a second too.
Thank you. Yeah, so I kind of go all over. So I've been finding out about a bunch of new devs. So there's DR Horton coming soon, right across from Southland Mall. In Hayward, or it's actually off of Calaroga, so it's going to be in Hayward by Mount Eden High School, kind of in that neighborhood. So it's called Southgate. That's the community of where the area is, but I think it's Playa del Rey or something like that. They're going to have about 47 homes. 5 of them are going to be BMRs, which I talked to the sales rep the other day, and they're not releasing it yet. I just found out because I had a client that drove by and was like, what is this building going on? And so I just researched it. So the 5 that they're doing BMR, they're not allowing us to sell. The clients have to go through the county, and you won't get paid on that, but you will get paid on the other 42, which is a 2% agent commission. So they're going to be releasing it. The county, I guess they said, is being stingy and wants to release it first. So they're going to announce it at the end of February, and those are going to be starting at 1.1, starting 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, 2 stories, and those are single family homes. And then out here in Antioch, there's David On Homes, which they're a local builder. They're a little bit more on the higher end. They're actually better than Toll Brothers. And so they have a few communities in Antioch, Pleasant Hill, and then they have the larger ones that are going to be 3 million to 6 million in Danville. But the ones in Pleasanton are starting, I believe, at 1.3. And then the ones in Antioch are under 800,000. So if your clients are looking for kind of like a higher end, but a little bit lower on the budget, then I would say David On Homes is a pretty good one in the Antioch and Pleasant Hill area. And then also be careful with the local builders. I'll tell you guys that, because the local builders are not going to be giving your clients any seller credits. And that's what I've been finding out with the local builders, is that they don't do any seller credits or special financing for clients. But they do allow you to use your own pre-approval, versus where the mainstream ones require your clients to do the prerequisite and go through theirs. And then also another tip, you guys, really educate your clients, because I've heard a few agents recently saying like, oh, I posted this video on this new dev and my client asked me for the info. And then when the agent followed up, the client was like, oh, I already put my deposit in, so you can't get credit. So what I've been spinning it as with my clients and getting a few signed in was just flat out telling them like, cool, you can go by yourself, but the moment you get in a contract and something goes south, the seller's agent, which is the sales rep that signed you in, their job is basically to bamboozle you and get their developer the most money. Whereas if you go with me, we can go ahead and negotiate seller credits, additional on top of what they're possibly giving you, and then some free upgrades, as well as if the lot is not available to the one that you want, we as agents, if you make friends with the sales reps and make them your homies and bring them lunch or like coffee, because they're there all day and they can't leave, if they'll give you like the sneak peek and they'll actually push to have the developer release a house that's in a completely different tier. So if they're not releasing the next tier for like another month or two, or until they sell out in that first one, if you're friends with them, they'll push for you. That's something that they did for me and one of my clients, because I just went in and kept talking to them and just following up and asking them about their day and whatnot.
Beautiful. God, I love this. Guys, a couple things I want to share with you really quick. There is a tool out there. Some of you may or may not use it. It's called newhomesourceprofessional.com. What you do is you take this and then you obviously add your MLS or new construction properties that you want to add in. And now it links it to all these places that you put in there, and you send that to your consumers so they have their own guide for when they're looking at new homes in your in your area. Vanessa Vo uses this at a very high level. Unfortunately, she has RSV right now. She's struggling, so she's not on the call, but she uses this. So use this as a tool to aggregate all of the homes that you're out searching that are new devs in your community. And when we look at this report here from Zonda, let's just highlight this section here. It says the National Association of Realtors released a survey of consumers that tells us why people purchased new homes last year. Besides the lack of inventory, avoiding renovations or problems, the ability to choose and customize the design and amenities of new home communities were the biggest drivers, and that's an obvious. Throughout the turmoil of the housing for the past few years, the demographic hasn't changed, and it states here, what has changed is the consumer mindset around the state of the market and the housing affordability. The consensus forecast is that in 2024, housing market will be a bit better than 2023, but we need to work on educating consumers on the value of homeownership and help address affordability strain. Obviously, that's what George just said. So it's our job to continuously educate. Now, they might be priced out of a very, very competitive market, but them going over a community over where they have incentives that they can buy a brand new house and not have to worry about the strain on their income and the condition of their, living conditions, because they're doing all kinds of work and repairs. This just might be a viable option. So anybody else have any contributions or thoughts on new devs, or something that we may not know, or something that you recently experienced that you want to share with the group? Anybody? All right, go ahead, Ash.
Just quickly, I wanted to tell you guys 2 horror stories I experienced with clients going into new builds by themselves so that you can share them with your clients. I had a pastor go in by themselves to a new build, and they had them release contingencies without explaining what contingencies even were before any type of green light with the loan or anything. And then they tried to take $15,000 from them. They were able to, I gave them some direction to go back and fight them and get it back. So they ended up getting it back, but they really are just in it for themselves. Not everybody, but there are some people out there that are truly just salespeople that are in it for themselves. So we really have to protect the consumers. And then the other thing I experienced with a new build, who did have a real estate agent though, the lender was kind of working really well with the builder and was giving the builder a kickback. And so how they were doing that though is they were charging the client $8,000 in origination fees. Origination fees, not points, not to buy down their interest rate, just origination fees, $8,000, and then giving that money back to the builder. So when we showed the builder line by line, mine was $1,400, theirs was $8,000. They ended up going with us because we do have a new build program. So just some things to watch out for. It's not going to be every builder every time, but there are some exceptions out there that we really need to protect the clients from.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad that you said this. And oftentimes there's more to negotiate than what meets the eye. Oftentimes you can get into conversations and get a lot more for your consumers, but you have to be willing to ask and you have to be willing to negotiate at a very high level. They're going to give you the baseline, right? And here's what it is. But as the more you push, the more you ask, then the more that you're going to get. I believe that there's so much more that we can negotiate with the builders, whether it is design, aesthetics, so on and so forth. So I really, really appreciate this message. Anybody else have anything that they want to share about new devs that they've experienced, that they've saw, that they know of in their local markets? So yeah, Pete just said here, I didn't even know that lenders had new dev programs outside of the in-house lender. Ashley, you want to address that?
Yes, we absolutely do at the money store. We can lock for a whole year with no upfront cost. So even if we're the backup lender, like they're gonna go with the builder's lender, but sometimes they do some schemy things once they're in contract, we can be the backup lender just to make sure they're safe because there's no upfront cost to them to have that second safety net for them.
And also
Boom, I
just
love
add to that, I love that, Ashley, thank you for pointing that out, because I know a lot of people don't know. And we actually have a specific new build division that handles our files as well. So usually if you tell your builder manager that and have them contact whoever they're working with the money store, they'll reiterate that and they know that they're in good hands. Because the biggest thing that these builders are scared of is this is going to go to a lender that's going to go MIA on me. So really, when they give them that information, they know they're getting updates and they know we have a specific department of processing and underwriting that handles it. It's no questions asked. And now for a lot of these builders like Denova and Antioch, we are actually a backup lender for their preferred lender as well because they were so happy with our service.
I love this. I love this. So there's a conversation going on in the chat for in layman's terms for the people that don't know what float down is. Can you guys elaborate on that? Please explain to the masses what this float down is for the people that don't know.
Yeah, so with the float down, let's say, for example, you lock your rate. And this can be either with a new home developer or this can be on a standard loan. And rates go down. I want to say there's a certain percentage. I don't know if it's an eighth or a quarter better in cost. There's just a $500 float down fee. And I've done this a couple of times because just as the market changes, so whatever their rate is, $500, they can get, let's say if it was locked at 6.5%, rates got even better and we can maybe go all the way down to 6% now. And there's only a flat $500 fee to do it.
And I'll chime in that why that's really sweet is that in the past I worked with builders on the lender side, and so we had programs that were similar to that, but you had to pay that fee up front. So if the rate didn't flow down, then you just paid that fee. So in this particular case, it's free, but if you get the rate down, then you actually can go, is it worth $500 to float the rate down? And probably 100 times out of 100 it is. So that's a pretty awesome program.
And for the sake of the conversation, I'm just curious, do you guys run into the clients say, well, now I can afford more if they bought down that? So say they're at a 6.5, they float it down to a 6%. Now they can afford more home. Do you see that they're wanting to renegotiate and buy a larger home? Do we see that or no?
No, they just feel super happy that they're not going to be house poor anymore. They just feel like more comfortable, cool. At ease. They're like, okay, and then I also too, I feel like it's that partnership that they know, like, these people are on my side. They have my true intention and best interest at heart, that they're helping me have this more payment comfortability and affordability. So they're so appreciative. They're always really happy, but they never go back and try to get anything more expensive.
Yeah, okay, cool. Now do the in-house lenders, sorry for interrupting you, Ashley, do the in-house lenders offer the same float down as well? No,
it's unheard of. It's pretty much unheard of. I've never heard of any in-house lender do a 1 year upfront lock. No, we do that in particular because we know it's so hard sometimes to compete with these in-house lenders. So every time, whenever we do, when I do the builder caravans with Christina Pineda and Daniela, we bring the flyer and they look at it and they're like, what? Because, you have to bring something that's going to make you set yourself out apart from the rest. And every single time they've said, I've never heard of this. This is amazing.
Yeah, and to piggyback that, in the past, I was the in-house lender, and all of them, it's a upfront. Like, you can do the year lock, and then you pay an extra amount for the rate lock fee, right? And so, or for the float down. And so you're paying for it upfront, even if it doesn't necessarily come to fruition. So what she's saying is, it's like, it is different because you're not paying for it until it actually happens. And if it happens, great, I'll pay for it. But if it's not happening, I don't want to pay for it.
Right. Wow. Cool. Very cool. Ashley, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just gonna comment on the question that you asked about the float down and if people want to buy more house. Most of the time, they're already committed and in love with that house that they're already in by the time we get to the float down. And we do it without telling them most of the time. We're monitoring their files and they don't know if interest rates dropped like 1/8%. So we're like, hey, happy surprise. Guess what? We can move your monthly payment X amount lower. And they're just super excited about it.
Wow, I love this. And what a great, tale of like customer awareness and making sure that we're in their corner no matter what, right? And obviously the money store never comes on here and says, hey, choose us. They're always here to provide value and say, here, this is what we can do for our consumers first. So I absolutely love this. Anybody else have any contributions, thoughts? I think this is a really good, positive conversation. We started out with Zonda, and now we're talking about the market. Anybody else want to share any thoughts, insight, or contributions to the call? All right, cool. Let's go on. Obviously, everybody on this call is searching for listings right now, or at least in some capacity wants to be a listing agent. Can I get a show of hands of you if you would like to be a listing agent right now, or have that kind of, I guess, leverage because you hold the listing? All right, cool. So we've done this time and time again, but I want to make sure that we're doing it again. Let me let Jess Bling in. All right, so we've done this time and time again. Once again, take a look at Zonda, be on Zonda, understand what's happening in the new dev, but I also want you guys to go and run some comps, and I want you to do that right now while you're on the call. Pull up a different screen if you're on the computer, or if you're on your phone, open up your computer. What I want you to do is I want you to search the markets that you know that are hot right now. People are telling you, you're seeing it on Instagram, 22 offers, 55 offers, 100 disclosure packets downloaded, 17 people came in the first hour for my open house, whatever you're experiencing. Now I want you to go layers deeper, and I want you to pull the comps, because now you are going to find the houses in the neighborhoods that are super, super hot. Now, I just ran some loose comps because we're on the call right now. I don't want to dive too far into this. But for this particular case, I'm looking at this far line here on the very far right side of my screen, and that lists number of offers. Now, if you have Bay East, or if you have Paragon, obviously you customize and you go to fields and you just put it from over here, number of offers, and you slide it over to here when you're running your comps. Now, we've had that conversation before, but if you're new to the call, that's how you do that. Now, if I look here and say this house on House Street, 388 House Street, nothing too fancy on the exterior. Obviously, we'd have to look. There's only 2 photos of this house, but here's what's great about that. Original price is $599, and it sold in 15 days or 11 days on the market, excuse me, for $780. Now, that is a big reason for you to knock on this neighborhood's doors, right? A, you want to congratulate that neighborhood that the values of their homes are up. 2, you want to let them know that based on this list, okay, based on this list, if we go 18, hi, Mr. Neighbors, congratulations, values of your homes just went up. I wanted to let you know that the house down the street, the Andersons family, that house sold for $200,000 over asking price. Congratulations. Now, I want to let you know that they had 18 offers on that home. That means there's 17 other families that are super heartbroken that they can't live in this community. So I wanted to come by and ask you, what are your plans for the home, knowing it's such a desirable time for people to buy homes in this market, right? Just go out there. You have the data. You could provide that data, give that to the neighbors. That's where you guys should be going to find these opportunities. Expireds, those are a great opportunity, but those are not as fruitful, and there's not as many numbers for those types of listings. FSBOs, once again, that list is very, very short. That's what's happening in your local markets. Go and tap into that. Congratulate them. Let them know that there's multiple offers on their home. They can only accept the one offer. It left X amount of people super brokenhearted that they can't live in this area of Walnut Creek. They want to ask you what your plans are with the home. They're either going to give you dirt, they're going to tell you no way, no how, or they're going to book an appointment with you. At the end of the day, you're gathering intel that's going to benefit you and get you closer to a potential listing opportunity or information about somebody in the neighborhood that may potentially want to list their home. Monica, and then we'll go to Rakitha.
Hey, just a side note. I'm super good with the MLS in terms of setting up Market Monitor so that you can specify which cities you want to focus on every day, and then how to make the comps show up. As far as the amount of them, I saw you do a quick highlight on that, Elias. But if anyone needs help, just wanted to offer that. Yeah, I can help you dial it in if you don't already have it done.
Yeah, Monica, are you going to be in Brentwood tomorrow?
I
All right,
sure
so
am.
hey, if you're in the area tomorrow, tap into the Brentwood office, 10 o'clock. Let's pull Monica aside. I'll show you how to do it. Let's dive into this, because if you guys are truly, truly interested in growing your listing business and finding those opportunities, let's go out and get them. We have the opportunity to control the market. The market does not control us. And so really good stuff, Monica. Rakitha, you had your hand up. Let's go over to you. How you doing? How's my niece and nephew? How's everybody doing in your world?
We're good. We miss you guys, but I forgot what I was
We
gonna
miss
say.
you
So
too.
I forgot what I was gonna say. We can come back later.
It's all good. Well, it's good to see you. Hugo, you had your hand up, big dog. Let's go to you.
What's up, coach? Can you guys hear me? I don't know if my
Loud and
mic
clear.
is
Your mic is spot
okay.
on.
Perfect. So a thing that I did early this month is I bought Vulcan 7, the neighborhood search platform. And just last week for my open house, I went ahead and I pulled a radius search of the neighborhood, I had a couple conversations, dialed for like 2 hours, but it was good. I was able to invite neighbors over. And I feel like this would be a good idea to, pull some comps aside and, call the neighborhood around as well, aside from the door knocking.
And it's definitely not going to hurt. It's going to put you in a very, very good position. Here's what I want to do is there is a site out there. Let me just pull this up really quick so I have it. All right, where is it at? 1 second. So let me get to this. So there's this site now as this is loading. Oh, okay. This is a free service for each of you that are EXP agents. Now, if you're not at with EXP, we can have that conversation about partnership, what that looks like. Now, there's a tool out there. If you go into your EXP world, and it's called dialsafe.exprealty.com. What that will do is that, say you pull a list from title, if you're having an open house on Saturday, right? And say, hey, Alicia, I need you to pull me a circle prospecting list of 1,000 names and numbers from this area. They'll pull that. And if you want the numbers, you have to pay a little bit, but it's literally pennies on the dollar. Now you take that CSV file or that Excel file, and then you drop it into DialSafe. What DialSafe does is it scrubs it for through DNC. So now it gets rid of all the numbers that we're not supposed to call, that we're going to get in trouble if we call. And now you have an active list of people that you could just dive into. This is something that Jeff Phillips does. He turned me on to DialSafe. This is a great way to keep your ass out of trouble, as well as just to fine tune that list and make sure that you're calling the right people in your area. So Hugo, I love that you're doing this. Great stuff. Anybody else have any thoughts, contributions on this here? Let me go back. Oh, by the way, Jacob, Kelly, both of you said, hey, I need help with MLS. First step, whatever association realtors you're a part of, go to their calendar or just simply call them, whether it's Bay East, Contra Costa, whether it is Bridge. They have MLS 101 training. First and foremost, go to that. Also, if you're a part of the team internally on Fast Class, there's tons of MLS tutorials via video that you can access. You just have to first off do your orientation through the MLS and then start diving into it. Nobody on the team is going to walk you through all that stuff right now. Do those things first, and then your advisors, coaching, training, all that will start to make sense. But first and foremost, schedule yourself for your MLS orientation through your local association realtors to give you at least some enough to be dangerous. That's what I'm trying to say here. I don't have access to the MLS, but my number is okay. Perfect. All right, cool. So when you look at this, you guys, each of us have the ability to pull up comps in your area. What I want you to do is I want you to get very, very particular with where you're pulling it. And then that's your list. That's where you buddy up with somebody and say, all right, let's go hit the pavement and let's go knock on these doors. Now, I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys. You guys have wrote offers in the last couple of weeks. You guys have got offers accepted in the last couple of weeks. You guys are seeing all kinds of different scenarios, competition levels, non-contingent offers, multiple offers. So who wants to tell me about what they're experiencing in the market and put us all on some game? I need to hear your guys' contributions on this. If you're being quiet, don't be quiet, because your brothers and sisters can learn from you on this call. So Demian, let's go. And who else has something that they want to share? Let's go, Demian.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, bro.
Okay, cool. No, I just wanted to tap in on that subject of sellers. Expectations are all over the place. So it is very important that you have communication with the seller's agent, with the other side, period. You just need to have some clear communication, because there's no telling what these sellers are looking for, even if they list a home at a certain price and it's been on 60 days. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking the asking price or ready to work a deal. It may mean that. But what I found in the last few weeks is that having these conversations does set you apart. I think it was $1.1 million offer that we put in on the house. It'd been on the market in San Jose for like 50 days. And the seller wanted 1.5. Wouldn't counter our offer, anything. After about 3 weeks, I finally got a counter at 145. And of course, my buyer is walking on that. Like it just doesn't make a bunch of sense. But at the same time, I built this rapport with the seller's agent to where we're, I don't want to say we're talking shit about the seller, but we're both on the same page, and he wants my clients to get the house. So if there is a chance that his seller gets realistic, then we'll be in contract on that. But just all that to say again, like these relationships matter, the conversations matter with the other side, and they can make a world of difference in you getting in contract and not.
You know what? I absolutely love this. And Melody, I see your hand up. I'm going to come to you. When I watched the Zonda economic update, there was a few things that they mentioned that no matter what happens in any economy, good economy, bad economy, there's always going to be reasons that people need to buy or sell. And they listed 10 of them. So obviously relocating, we're moving somewhere out of the area, we need to sell our home, and maybe we took a job, or maybe we're being closer to the grandbabies. Having children, right? When you see people celebrating, they're like, oh my God, we got one on the way, and they got their little baby picture. Like, what does that conversation look like? Like, are they going to be able to have the space to have a crawling baby and grow with them? Do they have the space? Retirement and downsizing, sick of paying rent. Obviously, we have high rents in our markets. Are they sick of paying rent? Are people getting married? When people announce that they're just got engaged and, oh my God, look at the ring, she said yes, all these things, like that's conversations. Yo, what's the future look like for you guys? Are you combining households? Are you selling off an asset? What are you guys doing? I'd love to help you. Congratulations on the engagement. Fear of missing out, meaning that people don't want to miss out on an opportunity to grow and to leverage and to build massive amounts of equity over the next couple of years. Divorce, unfortunately, we have that. I was talking with Jen Oak last week. She's having meetings with divorce attorneys as well as probate attorneys. Now, this is somebody that is at the top level of our entire company. She's going out and trying to leverage these partnerships to get leads before those leads become mass consumption for all of us. Opportunistic investors. I think what we need to do is, if a person is not trying to sell their home because they have a locked-in interest rate at 2.75, whatever that looks like, are we having enough conversations about teaching our clients or potential clients about how to leverage the mass amounts of equity they've built in their homes? I'm going to say that shit until I am blue in the face. How many times have we said, hey, listen, you may not want to sell right now, but what are you doing to leverage that equity so you can continue to build the empire for you and for your family? Well, I'm not doing anything. Well, you guys are sitting on $400,000 of positive equity that you could leverage into buying other investment opportunities here locally as well as outside of the state. Let's have that conversation. And then obviously death. Unfortunately, people are passing away and people need to part ways. I actually got a lead last week. A grandma passed away. They're selling their house in Berkeley and they need a little bit of help. So those are the reasons. No matter what happens in the economy, there are tons of reasons for people to still buy and sell homes in our market, in our markets across the country. Let's go Lisette and let's go Melody, or vice versa. I don't care. Let's go.
Well, I am going to agree with what Damian is saying as far as what I'm seeing in the market. Relationships are everything right now. It is important that we do stay in communication. Like he said, this last offer that we just ratified on, we beat out a no contingent offer. And had it not been for the entire relationship that we have with the listing agent and our lender, we wouldn't have been able to beat on that opportunity. I'm also seeing a really big shift happening in the market. San Pablo, for example, maybe 4 or 5 months ago was being transparently priced. Now I'm seeing things shift back up like 100,000 above what they really want. Same with Oakland. I'm starting to see things go back up to 250 above what they actually want. So my advice is know your markets, run those comps before you go out to the property, because they're not we're going back to the non-transparent marking, and you know, yay for sellers, but definitely a shift going on within these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right, you guys. And if your negotiation skills are maybe subpar right now, that's okay. Learn to negotiate at a very high level. We're going to get back into this gunslinging, non-contingent offers, no protection for our consumers. They're going to go all in, 200,000, 100,000. Literally, guys, we are going in that direction. So be ready, up your negotiation skills. So I love this, Lisette. Let's go Melody, then we'll go Jess, and then we'll go George.
I just wanted to say that I was just listening to some cold calls yesterday because I'm planning on doing some cold calling the rest of this week and just moving forward to make it a part of my daily routine. And I signed up for Espresso Agent, which is a little cheaper than Vulcan 7. But back to the point about cold calling and circle prospecting. I heard it differently yesterday than I've ever heard it before, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Right now, it is not the time to passively try to talk to buyers and sellers. Right now is the time to create an urgency in the market because a lot of homeowners have that 3%, 4% interest rate, and it is harder for them right now to get back into the market and purchase a home, right? Because they're going to have a higher interest rate. So when you're circle prospecting or when you're making your calls to your sphere or in your CRM, the way that you can start to create that sense of urgency is by telling them, and back to Elias's point, if you're pulling up the solds in a specific neighborhood, and let's say there's 14 offers. I saw in Walnut Creek that there was actually 14 offers on a particular property in Walnut Creek. Well, when I pick up the phone today, I'm going to specifically talk about, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this property right next door actually just sold. There was 14 offers on the property and one of them got accepted. So that means there's 13 other families right now looking in your neighborhood and would like a home just like yours that fits their criteria. So at that point, you can start that conversation because they're going to want information on that. If anything, it's a good way to build a relationship for the future. And another way of doing it as well is most agents have buyers that they're working with that can't find them the perfect property for them. And they do absolutely nothing to try to find them a perfect property besides maybe post on Slack. They just browse the MLS every once in a while. Maybe they throw that buyer on a Real Scout. Maybe they don't. They just wait for something to hit the market. Well, why aren't we taking advantage of the fact that having a potential buyer and using that opportunity to meet other property owners in the neighborhood to build long-term relationships and create your own inventory by circle prospecting, door knocking, things like that. So some things that you can do is write out the criteria of every buyer you have. Make a list of the roads and the subdivisions in your markets that fit your buyer's criteria. Do a handwritten letter to many of those properties that fit their criteria, and then run a Facebook ad or do some circle prospecting in that neighborhood. Follow up, and then make that appointment and try to sell it to the buyer. If the buyer doesn't move forward, list it. If the property owner doesn't want to list it or sell it, make a strong connection for the future. Send them a weekly newsletter, set them up on a Real Scout. Do something like that moving forward. So that's going to be my plan, and I'm happy to share more with anyone else that's interested.
And you know, it's a plan, you guys. And here's the thing. I want you to be very, very aware of your tonality when you're speaking about the market. I had a buddy call me yesterday, and my buddy moved out to Ohio, and he's working for a solar company. And I used to work with them at a timeshare resort years and years and years ago. He was telling me about his life. He's like, hey, we got this solar thing going on. And, you know, do you want to, can I send you some? And then like his voice was breaking. I'm like, bro, stop talking. I'm like, this is the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my life. And he's like, what? I'm like, bro, I'm done being honest with you, bro. Why are you so shaky with what you're saying? Are you confident about this new company? Do you like the company that you're working for? Do you actually know what you're offering? And so I had to stop him dead in the tracks. The only way that you're going to have confidence and chop down when you're actually speaking to consumers is that you study this shit, that you rehearse this shit, that you go over and over. When you're driving, you're recording yourself like, okay, guys, so here's my thoughts on the market. Here's what's happening in new homes. Here's what's happening with Pulte. Here's what's happening with Lennar. And then you hear, Okay, I like that. I like that. That's the type of tone and type of swag that you need to have when you're talking about the market. If someone says, Lisette, how's the market? God, I'm so glad that you asked. Cannot wait to share with you. There needs to be a sense of tone like, man, I'm so excited to share with you everything that's amazing about this industry versus cracking in your fucking voice because you're not confident. If you're confident, you're not studying. If you're lacking confidence, you're not studying enough. So you guys, I love Wednesdays because my hope is that everyone could say, you know what, I'm going to add a little bit more to my flow, and now I'm gotten a little bit more confident with the way I deliver this messaging. So great stuff, Melody. Great stuff. Let's go, Jess, and then George. We're going to come to you, and I think that's the last contribution. Let's go, Jess. Good to see you.
Hey y'all, hey, good morning. Elias, not you punking that guy and telling him to say it with his chest though. Anyway,
That's what it is.
I appreciate that. And that probably is going to put some fire under his ass. One really underserved thing right now that I think that we could be doing for people that may not have the funds to invest into a caller or something like that is these are great conversations to be having with your sphere. Pick up the phone because, as you know, we should be connecting with our sphere 4 to 5 times a year minimum over the phone. This is a fantastic script to be like, yo, I want to look out for you. And anyone else that's looking to sell their house or that wants to purchase, I want to be able to educate because this market is shifting. And I want to be that person that can talk you through this. Like, it's not about a paycheck. It's about me coming from contribution and wanting to make sure that you don't end up in the wrong hands. So definitely, if funds are not on your side right now, I know a lot of people had a rough year last year. Dial into that sphere. Call every single fucking person that you know and can have this script and conversation with. And that'll be your one conversation for the year. So you only have 3 or 4 more left for the year.
I love this. And you guys, here's the thing. Especially if you're newer, you know, here it is, Darnell. So, hey, what's going on, Auntie? What's going on, Uncle? What's going on, friend? Hey, as you can see, as you know, I'm in real estate and I'm loving what I'm doing. What we're doing is we do portfolio reviews for all of our friends and family. That means that we take a look at your portfolio. I give you a home equity report. So I tell you exactly what the value of your home is. And also, if you want to talk about how to leverage that equity, I'm here to serve you. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that I give you your home value. It's called a portfolio review. And then I'm going to send that out to you. That's a great conversation. Darnell, thank you. We got this information. We're not looking at buying or selling, but you know what? Great information and good stuff. Now, as you follow up, Darnell becomes omni. When they think about real estate, they think about Darnell Thomas, right? Because you're in their world, they're providing value. So Jess, what a great reminder. I love this. George, and please don't tell me you're wearing a built Pendleton, because I wore mine yesterday, bro. We're going to have to talk.
No. This is Banana Republic. So Kim and I actually wrote an offer for some clients last week, and it was a Newark townhouse that was right off the freeway. So it was built in 2017, so it still had some of its like warranties and whatnot. I was listed at 997. We ended up getting beat out by 5K. And basically what we're seeing right now is that a lot of sellers agents are actually not even willing to counter offers. So I've been changing my conversation when chatting with them and letting them know, like, hey, are you one agent who like ends up countering the top offers? Like, are you going to be able to counter us? Or are you not having that conversation with your clients? Because Kim and I ended up writing at 113 with our clients, and they ended up accepting an offer at 1135. And both were fully non-contingent. And so we went, what is that, $135,000 over the asking price for a townhouse. And I mean, it's just crazy to see that it got 6 offers. And initially 10 minutes before the offer due date or due time, we're talking to him and he was like, oh, I don't have any offers in. So we submitted one, and out of nowhere, he's like, oh, I got 6 offers. And then there was another one that we had submitted on with another client that ended up getting 50 offers in Fremont. So it's definitely picking up. I mean, I even got beat out in Tracy as well. In Tracy, I submitted an offer. We were the highest offer, but we ended up getting beat out because also I've noticed a lot of listing agents are back to double ending deals. So it's kind of having to shorten up your terms and work with lender partners that can close at a much faster rate too, because I think that's where you have to also chat with the seller's agent and ask them, what is their client's motivation? What are they selling? And I've noticed a lot of people actually forget to ask those questions, but those can actually give you the full tell on how to really craft your offer. So something that I've really been doing too to make my offer competitive is if a buyer is submitting more than a 5% down payment, I've been telling them, you know what, let's spruce up our offer and do 5% EMD and have it in within 24 hours. And we'll have your offer expire either by tonight or by tomorrow at 5 p.m. That way we're putting foot in ass with these sellers agents, because we want to show them that we're super like motivated. And then also something else that I learned that I've been doing for the last few months, and it's actually worked on a few deals is.
Hey, George, this last part, is it less than 30 seconds?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, all right. And I don't mean to cut you off, my man, but I want to respect everybody's time because we're going to be right at our hour mark.
Oh,
but you
good,
guys,
I know I can talk.
if you, I know, but we always love it. If you guys find this helpful, if you find these contributions important, if you find that you're learning from these environments, I want to encourage you to bring other people, invite people to come. This is an open platform for everyone to come, to enjoy, and to contribute at the highest level. So you guys, that's all I have for you guys. We have to go into another meeting right now, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it, you guys. And like the conversation was just so rich today. I learned so much. Thank you to our lending partner, our lender partners for being here. And as always, you guys keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. And I'll see a lot of you tomorrow in our Brentwood office. So roll through if you want to be a part of the community and what's going on in that office. Peace, everybody.